Okay, so here's a graph for a basic square function. Again, a little lopsided, but it's okay, we're going to use it anyway. Okay, we're going to rescale. So the interval -2, 2 of the x-axis becomes let's say, keep it even, say 0, 64. Okay, first of all, what do I mean by this notation? The interval bracket -2, 2. Sorry?
The domain.
Yep, good, that's the domain of the function, right? That is what you said, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, I don't hear that well. Okay, that's the domain, but by the term interval means this is an interval of the x-axis. It starts at -2, goes to 2. And it includes -2 and 2. Okay? That does turn out to be the domain of the function. Okay, we'll talk about that a little bit too, especially since you brought it up. Okay. Now, that's the domain of the extended basic function, right? Okay. And we want that to become the interval 0, 64. Okay? Well, that means that this is going to become 0. And this is going to become 64. Okay? So we're going to kind of do a dual labeling of this thing. Now, of course, if this becomes 0, that means that now this is going to be your y-axis. Okay? And this is going to be 64. So we've got a new labeling of the x-axis. Now the x-axis is here. I'm not going to exactly draw it over the old x-axis. Just kind of draw it parallel because we understand that this would be right on top of this, right? If I put it right on top, then kind of obliterate the former x-axis. Okay, so if this is 0 and this is 64, then what number should go here? Sorry?
32.
32. Now, cut this in half, that should be 32. Now, it's not a good half because this thing's lopsided, but this is where 32 would go. Okay? And then we can cut that in half, and that would put us here. So this would be 16. And if I cut this interval in half, what's halfway between 32 and 64? How do you find the number halfway between 32 and 64? Well, there are two ways you can do it. One way is you can say, well, the displacement from here to here would be 32, right? And half of that is 16, so I could add 16 to 32 and I'd get 48. Or I could add 32 and 64, gives me 96. Divide that by 2, I get 48. Okay? Two valid ways to do it. Number halfway between two numbers on the number line is the mean, the average, the mean average of the two numbers, okay? And then we can figure out what this number is. Well, we could average 32 and 48 we get 40. Or we could say, well, from here to here is 16, that's, half of that is 8, add that, I get 40. And then I can do the same thing over here, and I'm going to get 56. Okay? So now we've got a new graph. Okay? And I can sketch that graph. But I'll just kind of keep it here. So now if I look at the purple graph with the purple scale, there it is. And if I draw it separately, now my purple graph, let's see, it's a parabola. Okay, the basic squaring function makes a parabola. And any parabola can be obtained from the basic squaring function by stretching and compressing and shifting and even rotating things. Okay, we'll talk about that soon. The vertex is this low point. That's a term you should be familiar with, or at least should be somewhere in the recesses of your memory if it's been a while. But if not, you got it now. That's called the vertex, right? Okay, V-E-R-T-E-X. Okay, so vertex is at 32, 0. So I'll put my 64 here, and I'll put my 32 here, and I'll draw a big old dot there for my vertex. My y-intercept is this. Now, I haven't rescaled the y-axis. So, we might as well go ahead and rescale the y-axis. Okay? Now I'm just going to do that. I'm not going to explain that in detail, but here's 128. I mean, I'll kind of state as I go. Cut that in half, I get 64. Cut that in half, I get 32. Cut that in half, I get 16. Got a half there, it gives me 48. And then I've got halves up here, that's going to be 96. That's going to be 80. And now it's getting small and you can't read it. But if you look at the video, which I'll post after class, be able to see it. And that's going to be 112. Okay, so now we got numbers here, right? Okay. And the graph is a parabola, and I could plot the rest of the points. If I go halfway from 32 to here, that would correspond to my 1, 0 point, which is now my 32, not my 1632 point. Anyhow, I'd have a point here, I've got a point here. I'm just going to slop down a graph that I think looks pretty much okay. Make sense? Okay. So now I've got a rescaled graph. Now there's a formula for this function. We'll see soon how to get that formula. Okay? But right now that's what I mean by rescaling a graph, and part of your homework is going to be, I'll probably give you the x squared function again and ask you to rescale the graph. Okay? Give you an interval. Probably depends on the number of letters in your name. Okay? So everybody's doing a different interval. Okay. Got the idea? It's kind of an important thing. Okay. We want to try to apply this to what we got for the pendulum.